Check, check, check 1, 2. A new Monday Coffee with the Doll is coming for you. Check, check, check 1, 2. Where we overshare even if we don't want to. Is that me? That's just me. Emily, you're talking about yourself. Nobody else here is a part of this chaos but you. Hey everybody, and welcome back to an all-new episode of Monday Coffee with the Doll. I am the Doll, your hostess with the mostest in amazing bean juice, if you will. Today's episode is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be another kind of like 21 questions episode where I go back to my Facebook page and I answer the questions that you guys left me in my comment feed when I said, what should my topics be? I think that it's really fun to get you guys involved, and also it makes sure that I'm talking about like topics and content and things that you guys want to hear about and pick my brain about. So we're going to be doing that, and that always opens up interesting conversations. And we're also going to be talking about what's with these GD headlines, where I find something wacky in the news to discuss. And, then whatever else happens, because I'm a little ADD, so you never know. All right, I'm opening up I got my computer, if you will. If you see me looking down, it's not that I'm looking at my crotch or anything. I'm looking at my comments. So last week was a lot of fun. We answered some questions, and that was interesting. You know, I ultimately had picked 3 questions from you guys to answer, but the third one, I was gonna just use it and post it. But then I thought, you know, this episode's long enough and it already has a lot of goodness in it. I'm just going to cut this answer, because ultimately the person whose question that I had chosen, I chose before I realized he was like talking mad shit to me in all of my comment feeds about working on my car. I posted a clip from the Hinkley lipstick ad that I had done, and I decided to incorporate my car into the commercial that I created for them, showcasing their amazing lipstick that a lot of people thought was a butt plug, but that's okay, for valid reasons. But it wasn't a real, you know how people are, like the clip was just, it was a cute clip, and I was like, I'm gonna post this little clip, and it'll be like Happy Friday, and it was just a picture of me, you know, not working on my car. Like my hair is in a long ponytail, which is really dangerous, and like hanging over, and I wasn't dressed for it. I had all this makeup on, and it was clearly a shoot. Like it was clearly a video and not real. But because I'm like leaning over and like pretending to work on my car, and then I sit up and I'm like, hey, you know, just being fucking stupid, it triggered so many guys. It triggered so many guys, and the comment feeds were just, you could see the like sodium content getting higher and higher from these dudes who were triggered and were like, I have to call this out because clearly this is what's wrong with women today. But there was one guy who was just really ticked off by it, and he just kept like going to all my different posts and saying really salty things. And I hadn't realized, so I dedicated some time to answering his question, and then I realized that he didn't deserve my time. Because ultimately everything that he was posting was a dang-a-lang swangin' competition to let everybody know that he was a real man. It was heavy with the incel energy, you know what I mean? And I can't vibe with that. So I was like, you know what, I'm not even gonna humor this person anymore. I'm not even gonna post the answer to his question, because after I read all of his other comments, I realized that his question was a condescending question, like towards everything else, and I was like, you know what, this guy doesn't deserve this. So hashtag not gonna do it. All right, so I'm gonna pick some of these questions. I'm just gonna start at the top and go down, because I think that's the most fair way to do it. There's 27 comments, which is 27 questions. I might do 21, right? 21 questions. I'm gonna lose count, so I'm actually not gonna do 21. I'm gonna keep an eye on my clock. So I try not to talk too long, because that's ultimately, you know, my worst part of creating is I get really anxious and I get really animated and I talk way too long. So I'm gonna try to keep myself in check. We all know I'm gonna fail, but that's okay. We all fail sometimes. That's okay. All right, so we're gonna go just at the top, and David Neumann, he's a top fan. Hi, David. He asked, being true to yourself for peace and happiness. Well, you know, that's a really hard thing to do, right, David? It's really hard to be true to yourself, because ultimately the truer you are to yourself, the more in touch with your peace and your happiness you are going to be able to connect with. I think that that's really the kicker right there, is that a lot of us are like, why am I not happy? Why don't I have any peace? But then when we reflect on like who we are being in this moment in our life, we could probably reflect on the fact that we have a lot of people interjecting and a lot of people who we're trying to appease as we walk down these roads that are this crazy little thing called life. And I think that ultimately, you know, to be true to yourself so you can be the most in touch with your happiness just takes a lot of grace and deep breaths. Because it is hard. It's hard because to make peace within yourself, you usually start triggering a lot of other people, and other people start lashing out at you, and that can be really difficult to walk through. It's hard enough to heal yourself and make peace within yourself without having other people putting guilt trips on you and putting stress and pressure on you. But I think that one of the most important things that I can say is, when you're going, we all go through those pivotal points in our life. Like for me, I think last year when I turned 33, and I'm like this like numerical person, so like the year of 33 is a really big deal. If you don't know anything about it, look it up. I say that all the time. You know, I think that we have these big portions of our life where it's like put up or shut up, right? It's like the universe shows us these things and they're like, are you going to take the dive, the plunge? Are you going to keep pushing forward, or are you going to keep going backwards? And I think that for me, 33 was one of those things. And I think that, you know, when you're going through those moments, that's when you kind of really have to be selfish, and you have to demand what you're worth and the things that you need for yourself, because you can't grow into that peace and you can't claim that happiness if you're not a little bit selfish with your own heart and your own mind, and like really put up strong boundaries. But also, you know, you can't deny yourself for other people. And I think a lot of people walk around denying themselves for the sake of other people. And I know for me personally, as a recovering doormat, hi, how you doing? You know, I lived a lot of my life constantly thinking of other people before myself, because ultimately I wanted to appease those people, and the stress and the guilt of possibly disappointing them, or not doing what they wanted me to do, or not being who they wanted me to be, overshadowed what I wanted so much. I was willing to sacrifice my own hopes and wants and desires and dreams and peace and happiness. So I think that when it comes to that, you really have to be selfish in the most positive ways. You know, you don't get to be selfish and just like be a demanding brat that's like, me, like I need this right now. Like, that's not what I'm talking about. You have to have balance, and kindness is a big part of that towards others. But you do have to be able to stand up for yourself and live for yourself, because if you're not, and you're putting other people before you, getting into that peace is really hard. But also it takes a lot of moving forward. You have to move forward. You have to let go of old shit, so you can make room for new shit, but make sure that it's more positive shit. Okay, David, I love your face. Next is another top fan, Jeff Hopper. Now, Hopper, this is my Hopper. He is a really badass dude. He's been following my work for a really long time, and him and I have become friends over the years. So now he's also like one of my personal friends, I feel like. Sorry, Jeff, that's the title you get if you didn't want it. He says, how do you do a video log? I'm thinking about starting one. I think you mean vlog, right? A video vlog, like not a log, but like a vlog, right? Like kind of what I do. It's pretty simple, really. You need to start a channel, right? And then you need something to film on. I do most of my stuff with my phone. I'm filming on my phone right now, but I would recommend getting like a camera. I have this camera. I have a different lens on it. This is like a really close-up lens I was doing to shoot my car work when I was working on Ethel. But this is the Canon M50, and I would really highly recommend it for people who want to do vlogs. It's great for filming. It's great for shooting. It's a little bit bigger. It's a little bit sturdier of a camera. There are some that are a little bit smaller. But if you want a camera like the Mark II is a really good one to start with. You need a good like gimbal to put your camera on to hold it for you while you're filming, or something to hold your phone, whether you want to do phone or camera is really important. So you need something to film on that's got good clarity. Phones are all so expensive and high tech anymore. A phone is totally acceptable. You want good lighting. That's super important. And I would just recommend starting out doing a weekly vlog where you post once a week and you just film something each day, something small each day. And then at the end of the week, you edit it all together and then you post it. Now, there's a lot of different editing software. Personally, I'm a phone editor. I still don't use a lot of my computer for this stuff. And my husband's always telling me, figure it out. You have to figure it out. And I'm like, nah, I'm not patient enough and I already know how to do it my way. So I would recommend getting either, if you want to try on your computer, OBS Studios is really good. Not that I know, I haven't tried it, but I heard good things, and it's what my husband says is good, and he always knows because he does the reviews. Like, he deep dives on everything, so he knows what's good, and he says that. But I use Action Director to edit all of my stuff. That's what I edit all of my videos on for you guys for Monday Coffee. But really, you just start small, don't overwhelm yourself, and get a list. You know, decide what you want your vlog to be about. Is it going to be a daily vlog about you and your life and like what you do every day? Is there a specific hobby that you do that you want to film to make a vlog about? Vlogs can be anything. So the most important thing is to pick a topic. Make sure that you have decent recording equipment, your phone, if you have an iPhone, or, you know, really any phone of today's stature is fine. And then just do little clips every day. Try to sit down and film a couple of minutes every single day if you want to do like a wrap up at the end of the day. Or what I would recommend is, like, when you're out doing things, film a little bit. If you're going to the store, film a little bit. If you're going and someday if you're driving down the road and your car breaks down, that's an adventure. Film a little bit. You know, just film little pieces of your life each day. And then at the end of the week, when you edit them all together, you'll be really surprised at how much fun that video will be. I've done a little bit of that myself. I used to do when Lucy was really little and I couldn't like sit down for long periods. I do Monday Coffee with the Doll. These are the days that fill your week, and it would be like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. All right, I don't think I did Saturday and Sunday. That's irrelevant. And then I would just do little pieces, and then I would film it all together at the end, and then I would do like a wrap up where I would kind of like talk about my whole week, and it was a lot of fun. You can find those episodes on here. They're a good time. But yeah, it's really not as hard as you think. It takes some time. Just every day, take some time to film a little bit of your life, and then at the end of the week, edit it all together and see what you got, and then post it to the YouTubes. And then what's really great is on your like Instagrams and your Facebooks, there's the reels. On your TikTok, you can post a TikTok and you just post like little teaser clips, maybe the clip that you think is the funniest, or the most entertaining, or the most shocking, or one that like has a good cliffhanger that you can cut off so they have to go watch the video later on your channel. You can do those types of little teasers, which are like trailers to your entire vlog. That's a longer format on your YouTube video. So yeah, hope that works, Jeff. I love your face. Right, who's next? Sarah Jane Reynolds says, for beginners like myself, I'd love to hear how to choose your first competition. Actually going over where to start would be awesome. So there's not really a lot to do to pick what competition you go to. Pinup contests are all pretty much the same. There are competitions that are held at car shows, and then there's competitions that sometimes are held at places like Harley Davidson. They put on car shows. The Dallas Pinup Dolls are always doing really fun stuff with their competitions there. And now even there's virtual contests, like the gal that I just did a one-on-one coffee mentorship with. She booked me and she was like, hey, can you give me some advice on this pageant that's coming up? And so I was like, heck yes, I would love to support you. Booking's now available, plug. But her contest, her pageant was a virtual pageant, and they did like FaceTimes. And she posted like some screenshots of how it went down, and it was literally just all the girls up on the screen, and the judges went through and asked all the girls their interview questions that they were given prior. So really what I would say is, like, most pinup contests are every year, right? So the car show goes on every year, and then there's usually somebody who's in charge of holding the pinup contest. So you can do a lot of research into the past pinup contests. That'll give you kind of a taste of the energy and the behavior and how they've been in previous years, which is always good to do. You want to know what you're walking into. But ultimately, to prep for it, you just need to know like what season what season are we going into? There's not a lot that happens in the winter and fall, but occasionally there's shows. So you need to make sure that you know your weather. That's important because you are doing something that's not just showing up and looking cute and walking around. You're going to get up on a stage and you're going to present yourself. So you want to make sure that you think about the elements that are going to be there, and plan accordingly, because I know in Oklahoma it was hotter than Satan's you know what. And just having your hair down, like for me, would have been a nightmare. So the last car show, I've never participated in a pinup contest. I've judged a lot of them. I've helped get girls ready for a lot of them. I've helped like talk to people about how to put them on. I've done a lot of behind the scenes stuff. I've never been on stage performing, but I've been to a lot of car shows, and you know, you plan accordingly, because I've been brought to car shows where I'm there to work the event. I'm there to take pictures with people. I'm there to mingle with people, talk to people, promote what's going on, make sure the energy is badass. And so you want to make sure that you're ready for whatever the elements are. And I know, like, when I go to car shows, my hair was usually up because it was just so damn hot. My hair would have fallen from the humidity, the sweat, the heat. So you have to like plan accordingly, right? Know your elements. But as far as that goes, also know the elements of the show. So learn as much about the show that you're going to, learn about the contest that you're going to, because everybody usually has a page. Everybody posts about prior shows. Girls will leave feedback on prior shows, so know what you're walking into. But also know what the categories are. So a lot of times there'll be like one outfit, but other times there'll be multiple outfits, right? You'll have a dress, you'll do a swimwear walk, and then you'll do like, they call it garage wear, but it's like rockabilly look. It's kind of like, you know, t-shirt and jeans type of like garage wear, you know, bandanas and shit like that. So know your themes. Make sure that you're paying attention to your theme. Like, I judged a Halloween pinup contest, and the girls all showed up as campy Halloween versions of different vintage horror movies. Like, one girl showed up as the little girl from Poltergeist, and it was super amazing. She came with a little TV box. It was like a lunch box, but it looked like the TV. Like, you know, really think about the theme and go all out, because usually the girls who go all out for the themes are the ones that win a lot of the times. But ultimately, just know what the show is, know the elements of the show, know the categories of the show. Talk to the judges about what they expect you guys to be prepared for. Is there going to be a question that you have to answer? Is there going to be like a talent performance? I've been to some that have talent performances. So just know your show, and then the more that you walk in there ready and prepared for what to expect, it's going to help alleviate some of that stress and strain. But if you need more help, or if you need somebody to help get you prepared, your girl is always here and ready for a one-on-one coffee date. You can book those with me on my Linktree. All right, next we have a lot of guys talking about cars. Guys, I can't just keep talking about cars. I know you want me to talk about cars. I love cars. Like, what do you want to talk about? Cars. Cars are fucking amazing. What do you guys, cars, like cars. I would like to talk about cars. Cars. I have a car page. You guys are welcome to follow that. It's called That's a Ford Edsel Ranger. There's a lot of purists out there that yell at me and they're like, Edsel's not a Ford, okay? Okay, then who made it? I know it's its own standalone entity, but it's an entity underneath the Ford Motor Company. So yes, it is a Ford. Get over it. All right, Karen Hinkley, who also is a top fan. Hi, Karen. She wants to know how I edit my videos. So like I said to Jeff, I do all my editing on my phone. I hop between a couple of different apps where I create different elements of my videos, like my cover photos and like my photos that when you come into Monday Coffee, it shows me with my coffee cup and it's like a cool background. I use different editing apps to create all of that fun content, and then I bring it over into my Action Director, and I just use Action Director to start editing. Now, Action Director is just an app that I downloaded on my phone years and years and years ago, and over the years it's gotten a lot better, and there's a lot more features that I can do. Like the picture-in-picture is really rad. but it is something that I eventually paid for because it was just, it fit all my needs. But I would recommend learning on a simple software on the computer like OBS Studios is a pretty good one. Like I said, I also haven't, I don't know. My husband says it's great and I trust him because he researches everything and I don't. But really what I do is I film a lot of clips. So, you know, with my lifestyle and how it's always been, like from back in the day to even now, you know, with my kids, and we all live in the same house. Like we live in one house, my husband's home and he's in his office working. I'm here in like most of the house because my kids are homeschooled, and then Lucy Joe is only 3, so she's running around everywhere. So right now they left to go get Bobo, our donkey, some feed, so the house is quiet. But ultimately I have interruptions all the time. So what I like to do is I like to film cuts. That's why there's so many cuts in my videos, because once I get a thought out, I'm done. I stop the video and then I start again. That way I know that at least that thought and that piece of the video is good. It's clean. There's no issues with it. I'm not going to have to redo it, or there's no weird noises or things like that. And then I just bring them all into Action Director. Action Director is like a clip by clip editor. And I can edit all my clips together really easily. I can add all kinds of fun stuff. You guys have probably noticed I started adding like all these fun pop-up things, probably too much at times, but you know, oh well. But that's how I do all of these videos, and it's really simple. And again, if you guys need some help and you guys need one-on-one like lessons, or want to sit down with me and like really talk about how I go into it and how I do it, I am more than happy to share all my tips, tricks, and secrets. Going through anything with you guys, I'm 100% here. Just, you know, just book me for a one-on-one coffee date. We can sit down and you'll have my undivided attention. Yeah, so yeah, there's that. All right, so the next one that I am going to do, this, I hate how Facebook tells me, it's like, here's the most relevant ones. You don't get to see any other ones. Everybody's relevant, Zuckerberg, in my comment feeds. Okay, don't tell me who is and who isn't relevant in my comment feeds. All right, so next is Miss Abby Rivers. Miss Abby Rivers was actually our small business of the week last week for Turtles, Roses, and Faith. She's a really badass little 13-year-old who has her own small business. She's a little entrepreneur in training. And she said you should talk about things that you wish you knew but like before you were 20. You should talk about things I wish I knew when I was 20. Yeah, so like things that I knew by the time I was 20. So I went through a lot of different really hard things, and by the time I was 20, once I turned 20, I had no idea at the time, but I was 3 years away from officially divorcing my ex-husband and going, like, starting on the transition that would be really moving on to the best years of my life, where I am now. But I was really at a pivotal point at that point in my life, and I was getting to the point where, you know, I had gone through so much and so little at the same time, right? So I went through a lot of emotional abuse and a lot of like controlling abuse and a lot of really difficult things at that pivotal point, another pivotal point in your life, where you go from teenager to like actual adult. And I had a lot of pressures and a lot of people controlling every move that I made. So there wasn't a lot of growth in me personally. There was a lot of me trying to grow, but also just like being stamped into the ground anytime I tried to make my own choice. You know, by the time I was 20, at 21, I had my son, my first son. So like before that, there was a lot that was just me allowing other people to control every move that I made. So I think that what I wish I knew by the time I was 20 was to stand up for myself. I think that a lot of us function in a way where we allow other people to control our choices, and our ideas and our mental space. And I know for me, in those years of my life, there was a lot of control, whether it be from my mom and my family, my home life, or my ex who I was with at the time. Somebody was always dictating whether I was going left or right, speed up, slow down, jump. Like I was like a video game, and I had a wire in my back, and somebody was always holding the controller that wasn't me. And it wasn't until I was 23 that I cut that wire. So up until that point, I definitely would say that what I wish I had was somebody strong enough to tell me to stand up for myself and to stop allowing other people to dictate my future. Because, you know, once you're 18, you have that choice finally to where you get to tell people to kick rocks, right? Like, when you're a child, it's hard because you have all these stipulations of being a child and like legalities that hold you back from things. But once you like become an adult, you really do have the right to say and do and be. But the problem is that what environment have you grown in thus far? Because at that point, it's up here that stops you. And up here, once I turned an adult, still was stopping me because I was allowing somebody else still to dictate everything that I did based off fear. So I think that what I would tell myself is to be brave enough to stand up for yourself and stop allowing fear to control you. Because for me, everything was fear. The fear of disappointing people, the fear of letting people down, the fear of being in trouble, the fear of being reprimanded, the fear of just always worrying about how somebody else feels nonstop, to the point where I never thought about myself. And I think that when you're trying to grow in those early stages of adulthood, that can be really detrimental to your future. So I think that by the time you're 20, you really need to know that you can't act in fear, because a lot of stuff is scary. It's gonna, like, there's always going to be something scary. So you can't allow that fear to dictate your moving forward. And also to stand up for yourself. Don't be afraid to stand up for yourself, like, ever. It's super important. That's gonna be it for the DollFAM topics that I'm going to be answering this episode. I want to say thank you everybody who contributed to the comment feed and leaving their topics. I'll do another one next week, so make sure that you are following my page so you can leave your topic in the feed so that you can have me answer whatever it is that you wish that you would like me to speak on. Or not speak on, you know. I mean, you can just keep scrolling, but that smells a little salty or amazing, or, oh, that smells like a plug for, yep, that's right, Sleepy Dog Coffee, our favorite sponsor. Are you tired of waking up in the morning just doggone tired? Just dragging your tail on the ground? Not wanting to get out of bed and shake the covers off? Well, if you knew that an amazing brew bean of Sleeping Dog Coffee was brewing up in your pot in the kitchen every morning, I guarantee it would get you up howling. That's right, Sleeping Dog Coffee beans. The brew that gets you up howling in the morning after you've been up all night howling at the moon. Or other things. You know the spiel. You know how it goes. And if you have never tried this amazing bean juice, go ahead and check below for a coupon. That's right, a coupon. Just for you, for 5% off your first beans order. I guarantee it'll get you howling too. Bye. All right, now it's time to get into the next portion of our show, a newer portion that I just started doing, and that is what's up with these GD headlines. Headlines in the news that are just GD odd or weird or suspicious or crazy. And unfortunately, I really feel like that's just all news anymore. So I try to find like some that I know a lot of other people aren't talking about and bring them to your attention. So that's what we're going to do is, you know, with the DollFAM news and what's going on with these GD headlines. All right, so the first headline we're going to be talking about is, you found that mummy where? That's right, a 2,000-year-old mummy found in a dumpster in Yemen with its insides ripped out. That's right. So the Insider brings us an article that was posted when? March 10th, and it's the 8th. It's the 8th. Y'all get it that messed up? Or is this like the thing that the conspiracy theorists talk about, how like they find things that are posted before they were supposed to be posted or before they happen? This says March 10th, 2023. My watch says March 8th. That's right. It's Friday. It's Friday. What's going on with these GD timelines? Am I right? Well, whatever. Moving on. That's not the craziest thing that's in the news. So the news got their timelines mixed up. What a shocker! All right, it says a mummy believed to be around 2,000 years old has been found dumped in the trash in Yemen's capital Sana'a with its insides ripped out. Yemen's General Organization of Antiquities and Museums on Wednesday blamed tomb robbers and antiquities traffickers for exhuming the artifact. The body was found curled up in a fetal position, wrapped in animal hide, as was traditional for embalming at the time. The smugglers had opened the corpse's abdomen before dumping it, per Arab News. The discovery has caused fury among locals who have seen their rare historical artifacts threatened by the country's long-raging civil war, per the Saudi Arabian daily news, Arab News. It has been taken to the National Museum in Sana'a for preservation, and experts from the board will treat it for bacterial decay, and that started to appear and studies are being conducted, the organization said, per the Post. Ancient Yemenis were the third people to discover mummification after the Egyptians and the Chileans. That's fascinating. So the Yemens were the third people to discover mummification after the Egyptians and the Chileans. That's really good historical information to have, I think. The remains are likely from the 3rd or 4th century BC, meaning this person may have lived during the legendary kingdom of Saba, which is thought to have been the land of Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. I love the Queen of Sheba. She's a bad bitch. The Sabians built a lush and prosperous trading empire from their close proximity to the sea and strategic geographic position, ferrying goods such as frankincense and myrrh through the desert. Man, people loved their smells back then. I love to smell good. I love me an essential oil and some fragrance of luxurious kinds. But I'm telling you, all the ferrying back then was like silks and frankincense and myrrh. Ancient mummies can be found in caves and built up rocky graves through the Saba, Himyar, Quattaban, Assam. I'm not even gonna because then I'm gonna just get roasted. All over. They're found all over. A Yemeni researcher who tracks antiquities smuggling said in a Facebook post. In the midst of one of the world's most severe humanitarian crises, after decades of conflict, the Yemeni are also struggling to keep hold of this ancient heritage. A 2017 report said the power shortages could threaten the preservation of 12 mummies at the Sana'a University Museum in the Yemeni capital. So I think that this is really fascinating because could you imagine just going out to a dumpster one day and like opening it up and there's a whole ass mummy? Just a whole ass mummy it said in a fetal position. Whole ass mummy in a fetal position, and all of his inside, like, it'd be like, well, looks like somebody already got to this mummy, but his bag is here, like, the bag part of him, all the part that holds all the stuff that they took, we still got the outside, we just ain't got none. I cannot fathom walking out and finding a whole ass mummy, well, not a whole ass mummy, because somebody took out his guts, but his guts were, like, not even really there anyways. But this is tragic. You know, the thing that I think that upsets me the most about this type of stuff is that it's just so disrespectful to humanity as a whole. So for somebody like me who grew up in a home that was heavily dictated by religion as far as like human, like just humanity as a whole, I guess I would say, like where we came from, how we originated. I'm a really big, I love watching Graham Hancock. I don't know if any of you know who Graham Hancock is, but he has a special on Netflix. If you don't know who he is, that's a great place to start, called, what is it called? It's called Ancient Ruins. Hold on. Graham Hancock, Netflix. What's it called? It is called Ancient Apocalypse. And what it is it's a look at absolutely amazing places across our world that hold such historical, factual evidence of where we came from, how we progressed. And it's even contradicting what we know thus far. Like Graham Hancock is kind of the guy that a lot of the other archaeologists and historians don't really like because he kind of pushes the boundaries on what we know with new factual evidence, and he's like, hey, but this kind of doesn't make sense anymore if you look at this new stuff. And they're like, shh, be quiet, Graham. Nobody told you you could talk. But Graham Hancock's like, Gobekli Tepe though. Gobekli Tepe though. So I think that this kind of stuff is really fascinating. And it's always really heartbreaking when you hear that people are just disrespecting it so much, because these are huge pieces of history that we're never going to get back. They teach us so much about where we came from and how we started. You know, this mummy is 2,000 years old. And they're coming from one of the first civilizations that figured out how to do mummification. Like, what this mummy holds is, it could be like one fractional new piece of scientific information that we didn't have before, but that can open up so many new things about where we came from. So I think that it's always extremely heartbreaking when people destroy stuff like this. Like, this says that the remains are likely from the 3rd or 4th century BC, and this person could have lived during the legendary kingdom of Saba, which is thought to have been the land of Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. And these people just stole this poor person. I don't know if it's a male or a female, it doesn't say. They don't even know yet. They're sending it out, like it said. Took out his guts, took what they wanted, and then threw this in a dumpster. Like, they didn't, like, I can't even fathom being so disrespectful. So I don't know, these people, I don't know what these people's GD problem is, but this is absolutely disgraceful. This is absolutely disgraceful. And I hope that they get this all figured out, and I hope that the Yemen's General Organization of Antiquities and Museum are able to get as much data and research out of this mummy as possible, now that these people have just gone and gutted the whole thing. So that's the shocking headline that I'm going to be sharing with you guys this week. I hope you guys have enjoyed hanging out. Before I go, I want to let you guys know I released my new prints for March. They're available, and I kind of have a new thing this March release. I have my traditional original 8x10 with a collectible mini print that kind of goes with the collection for sale. But I also been doing something new because I have some really serious pinup print collectors that are knocking on my door when I release these, wanting to know if they can buy the entire set for their collection, because they don't want just one photo, they want all the photos. So I have released a single photo on my Linktree, but I've also released an 8 print for serious collectors edition that has all 8 of the edits that I took. This month is the theme Kiss My Duck, and it is the ever iconic self-done selfie photography, whatever you want to call it, photo shoot that I did. It was one of the first photo shoots that I ever did myself for a brand, and that was for the amazing brand over in the UK, Mr. Ducktail, who is the absolute rockabilly king over there. He's a really rad dude. You guys will have to look him up if you are in love with the rockabilly scene and culture. But he sent me some of his merch, and I decided to go all out and do a total full body photo shoot, which I had never done before, and it was really tricky to do. But I did it, and the photos came out really badass, and a lot of people really liked them. They're really popular. They get shared a lot. So I'm going to be releasing those this month. They are available on my Linktree. All of those purchases are really helpful, because the purchases that you guys make go back into my content. So those funds are going into creating more content for you guys, creating really cool packages when you guys order things, because my packages that I send out when you guys order prints are really fun. They got a lot of fun goodies in there. Everybody says, Emily, oh my gosh, this was so much fun to get. I didn't know all this stuff was going to be in here. And I'm like, surprise, it's like school, Valentine's Day. You're coming home with, it's like a Christmas party, you're coming home with a bag full of shit. But I really appreciate all of the purchases that you guys make through there. Also, don't forget, you guys can book a one-on-one coffee date with me. So if you guys are looking for some mentorship, some counseling, some guidance, some advice from somebody like your girl, and you enjoy the things that I say across my platforms and the opinions and ideas and mindset that I carry, you guys can book a one-on-one coffee date with me through my Linktree, and it is through my coffee site. So it is a one-on-one virtual video chat where I call you guys and we talk one-on-one through a video call, and we talk about whatever you guys want. So if you guys are needing some help with a pinup pageant or getting ready for a photo shoot, or even need some help with pinup poses, I'm your girl. If you need somebody to help you out and give you some guidance, I am absolutely here for you. So you guys can book a one-on-one call with me and we can talk about whatever you need, including any other situations. I've been through a lot of things. I am not licensed in any type of anything, but I do have a lot of experience, and I am a firm believer in sharing is caring and knowledge is power. So if I have any type of knowledge that I can share with you to make you feel more powerful in whatever situation you're going through, I am here to do so, because how else are you going to make peace within yourself if you don't have good support? And I want to support you. So all of those links are below. You guys can book a one-on-one coffee date with me. I would be so happy to sit down and chat with you, even if it's just to shoot the shit, because you know your girl likes to shoot the shit over a cup of sleeping dog coffee. Yes, ma'ams and misters and emses and anybody in between. That's right. Everybody is welcome, and I will respect you for as you are. So that's going to be it for this week's episode of Monday Coffee with the Doll. You guys choose the topics. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode and the thoughts that I gave you based off of the comments that you left me. Remember that one of the biggest things that you can do to help my algorithms and content grow is to do the liking, the sharing, the subscribing, the commenting, the bell dinging, and all of the above, because nothing helps a content creator more than being interactive on our content. I also want to say thank you so much to all of you guys over here who left me comments and participated in what should our topics be, because you guys are a huge part of my content. You always have been and you always will be. And I like talking about the things that you guys have interest in. So thank you so much for getting involved. And also remember, you can get involved in the show in a lot of different ways. Check below. You can write in. If you're going through something difficult and you want a Monday coffee directly to you based off of a situation you're going through, you can write into the show and it can be completely anonymous, and I will answer whatever trials and tribulations you are going through the best to my ability, but directly to you through a new episode of Monday Coffee with the Doll. This week we don't have a small business because I'm gearing up for a couple of new small businesses that I'm going to be bringing your way. So be sure to catch up on the old episodes of A Hot Pot of small business support, because all of those small businesses still need your love and support. Make sure you check out last week's Love, Turtles, and Faith by the amazing Abby Rivers, who's a 13-year-old small business owner that needs all the love and confidence she can get from the DollFAM. But most importantly, remember that sharing is caring and knowledge is power. And if we share the knowledge we have with others along the way, we can be more powerful together. But also make peace within yourself so you can walk in love with others much better, because sharing when you have peace is way more easier than when you don't have peace. So make sure that you check your peace first before you check other people's peace. Oh, you know what I'm talking about. But most importantly, remember that these are the days that fill your week. Make them as amazing as you are, because they have a lot to keep up with. I love your faces, and I'll see you next week. And bye.
Words are just words until action actually starts. And actions speak louder than words, but at the same time, words speak louder than actions, because sometimes it's the right thing to do. Very cool.